Yeah, hello, welcome back to the grind. Anybody new around? Welcome to the grind also. Hi. Anyhow, the this is my 1976 BMW 2002 or an E10 variety. This week, like last time, well, who knows what order these go in, but see, this is all apart right now. Now you might get to see this all together before you see this video, depending on timing here. So that might be a moot point, but last time we were working on this and I had to order parts for it that I had ordered wrong. Anyway, that being said, so I decided I'd go and do some work on the braking systems. So this I had done in a previous episode, put that on, but I had only got it to here with the flexi tubes. So I got all the octopus of braking, BMW braking octopus, right? All put back together. And it's a real octopus up here. I don't know, can you see that? Let me get a light, I'll show you. Where's my light? Here it is. Yeah, your octopus of braking is in there. So I got that all put together and remounted this, which is the braking pedal and everything like that, into the car. And here's the gas pedal, fuel foot feed, hey, for us farmers. And then I finished up the braking back to here, where I had done it to here previously and left a thing there. So that's all done, and I bled the brakes and they work and it's not leaking. Yay. Hey, that's good. Next, I figured, well, let's get the carburetor apart. So here's the carburetor. All cleaned out and put a rebuild kit into it. Cleaned out, like the rebuild kit's pretty simple. It just comes with a couple of gaskets and a couple of new O-rings. So you mostly clean it out and put it back together, right? Then over here, that's the manifold, which I haven't touched yet, so we'll get to that next time, sometime. The most important part of the rebuild kit is right here, which is the like it throws fuel down there when you pump it, whatever you call that, accelerator pump. So, but anyway, well, everything's important, but that part there, you need a new one. The rebuild kit did not come with the little. There's another diaphragm in here, right behind there, that pulls the choke and vacuums on the choke and pulls the choke when it seems to be okay. And this diaphragm in here seems to be okay. And this is the actuator for the secondary two barrel. So this one here, when you press on the gas there, it creates a vacuum, and then that pulls up on this and opens up that, so you get two barrels going, right? That's pretty good systems, but carburetors are finicky things. Anyway, so that's all. This, I think, is the idle adjustment, but I don't know for sure. That's all back together. So stick around. You see everything that happened and enjoy it all. I'll see you later. Bye for now. Okay, so there now. That brake's on, right? We got that done last time. And this side here is on. And that turns really nice with no noise. That turns nice. A little bit of noise from the brake there. I think we're okay. Now, what else is, what's next on my list? So I'm waiting for parts to come so I can put the motor back together. So while I'm waiting, maybe I'll just put the steering shaft in and finish up the brakes, because that would be, the brakes have to go in before the motor goes in. I think it'd be easier to do that anyhow. So if I put the steering shaft in it, steering column in it, what does that do? Does it go in first or does it go in after the brakes? Let's go find the brakes and all the pedals and see. Oh, okay, here's all my bits. That looks like brake stuff there. I don't know where the master cylinder is. It will be here somewhere, I hope. Dashboard, maybe I'll put the dashboard over there. that looks like a steering column right there. So I guess that would be what I need. I'll just grab a couple of pieces and take them over. Yeah, so here's the braking and throttle. That's the throttle, that one there. This one's the brake. It seems the spring goes in and out. Does what it's supposed to. And the previous owner, when he took it apart, put all these bolts back right where they're supposed to be, so now I can take them out and lose them, right? But we'll take them out, clean them all up, and same with those ones up there. And then clean up this business here, give it a, you know, a $5 paint job. Those bolts hold something. That looks like it holds wiper washer fluid. I don't know though yet. Or maybe that's where the brake master cylinder sits on. Sits on the front of this, right? Maybe that's where the master cylinder sits in it. I'm not really sure. Now we'll just see how good a job I did putting that together in there, because these have to fit, I'm pretty sure, into something I welded. Oh, let me see. Yeah, they all fit there, and then the other thing will fit up above there somewhere. I wonder, can you see anything in here? Let me get light. Where's my light? Here it is. Whoops, sorry. Okay. You can see where it sits down below here easily enough, but it's got to fit into all those holes there. But up above, where does it fit into? Or is there something else that goes on? Don't know. We'll have to put it on and see what hooks where. Now, should I put the steering shaft through first? I wonder. I think I can likely wait and put the steering shaft in later. I've got that over here, right here, and it obviously goes through those, and there's 4 holes that it hooks into up there, but there's 5 holes up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another hole above this stuff here. So I wonder, don't know. Okay, well, all we can do is start putting stuff together and then see. Looks like I'll have to have some sort of sealant on around there. I think I'll just I'll clean off that out there first, then we'll do a dry fit on it and see where it goes. Because that would be interesting, wouldn't it? But first, and there's the master cylinder right there, and fluid just fell out of it, so it's got like fluid flowing in it. Maybe I'm gonna see if I can get away without taking that apart for now, and cause it's pretty easy to remove anytime, and replace it if we need to, or rebuild it. But first off, I'll just clean it up on the outside and then stick it back into service. I'm pretty sure these last forever. Hey, they look pretty ratty, but we'll see about those. Okay. Yeah, everywhere you go on this machine, rust follows you. Now I've decided I'd just drill that out to a circle. Now I don't know that I need to even put metal in there. I can just put a plug in there, I think. I've got some rubber plugs that'll likely fit in there, and that would just, all it has to do is stop the air. Must be some sort of a plug that should go here too. Not sure. Because that's all plenty strong all around, so I'll find a plug and see if we can put one in there. And this holds on to something or other, some sort of wiring. Okay, I don't know if I showed you, but there's that rubber plug in there. Nice. Now I'm gonna get a bunch of the grease remover and just put it on there and then give it a power wash. I've covered these holes that go into the inside of that vacuum chamber, and away we go. Yeah, so that's at $5 overhaul. I blocked off those holes into the inside of it, and then I paint and covered up the stuff that I didn't want to get painted, like those bolts and things. Anyway, let that dry for a while and that'll be good. Oh yeah, here's the brake thing here underneath the car, and it goes in first, and then this goes up against right up here, and then the steering column comes down through there and through here, like the little notch out of it right there, and a notch above there. Steering column comes right underneath the middle of this right here. So I'm trying to do a dry fit here to get this thing into it, and then I'll put the gasket stuff. I've got some of that sealant gasket stuff to go around here and see if I can get it back on. Yeah, there's about what it fits like. Can you see that all right? Black on black on black, right? There, black, right here. Fits there and fits up there. And then steering gear comes down and meets on this thing right here. And there should be enough room to make it all work, I guess. Okay. Okay, here's this thing here now, and I've got this goopy stuff on here. It's made for, you know, doing around roof vents on a motorhome is what it's for. But it works pretty good for this here too. This here, this also. I'll just pull off that piece there. The rest I'll pull off when I get it in there, because it'll be banging around a bunch. So I'll just hang it off of these holes here, and then I'll let the car down and see if I can get something started. I imagine I can pull on this to get it started. We'll just see. I've cleaned off all the hardware, well, mostly. That one's not very clean. That one, well, they're clean enough because they're going into that ucky rubber stuff. They come in from the outside, from the inside out. So I'll put this on and then see what happens. I don't know if there's supposed to be a spacer here, or if that comes up tight, or I think it just comes up tight. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so steering shaft is next. And this part here used to be on here. I slid that off to be able to get it into where it lives. Now there's a little bit of, like, I don't know why that's rusty there. I'll have a look at that. A little bit of emery cloth cleans that off, and then I'll see if I can get some paint on there without painting everything. Okay. Yeah, so you know how I love to do things over and over and over again. Well, here's another chance to do it. I've got the steering shaft. Whoa, I'm getting myself in here. So I got the steering shaft through and sort of bolted on there temporarily. And I have to put the thing on the spline here before anything else happens. And also, I don't know, can you see right down here? Yeah. Down on this side right here, there's a brace for this brake business on the wall of the car over there. And don't you know, I didn't get it on there right. So you gotta loosen up all these bolts that hold this part down here on. Pull that out and around, and then do it again. So I'll be busy for a few minutes. And I've even got that steering shaft bolted to the underside of the dash. Oh dear me. Yeah, putting it together second time is easier. So now I just have to clean up around here a bit. But all the bolts are through here again. This part, I don't know, can you see that? That part there. And then now I have to, like, this isn't tight in there, so I'm going to put the thing on there so that it'll hook onto here whilst everything is going on. Now that thing there is too tight. Okay, I'll get that off of there. But those bolts right in there were the offending ones that I didn't do anything about, right? Okay, well, they get tightened up last. But I wondered what they were for while I was working on the car. Now I know. Yeah, it's quitting time now. So I've got a couple of bolts into that, and I've got that rubber thing holding it. Now it's got a spring thing that goes into the middle here. I wonder what that does. Oh, excuse me. Don't know. There's bolts up there. They're in, but they're not tight. I'll tighten this up first, and then I'll tighten that. But it's quitting time today, so I'll finish it up tomorrow. Yeah. Quite the chore, this one. How come it seems that all the simple chores take a half hour or hour more than you think, right? Okay. Oh well. See you later. Yeah, so there we go. That's back in there. Now I still have a couple more bolts to tighten up, but it's all in, and the steering column is in there. The ignition key, I put the key in, but I can't get it to turn. I guess I'll worry about that sometime. I don't know why. Maybe it's the wrong key. But we'll carry on. The next I'm going to put the brakes back together here so that it will maybe have brakes, right? Okay. Yeah, first I'll take this apart if I can. Now this was, of course, wouldn't turn in there, but now I worked a bit of Mega Blaster into there and it started turning. So I'll get that off, and I took a picture of it with my camera just so I know how it goes back together. I won't take this out. I'll leave that in there, but I want to clean up the rest of this stuff if I can. I'll work on it. Yeah, that's all pretty clean in there now, and I had this out and cleaned out underneath it, and all of you can see through those, and fluid flows through. I've cleaned it all out with brake clean and hit the wire wheel on it. Now I'll see about cleaning up these lines and get them back installed into it. There we go. Part one of Octopus is back together. So, and I checked all those lines. I go through this thing here. I checked that it would actually work. The switch works. So that's happy. Now, I don't think any fluid is supposed to get into there, so it's not a pressure seal or anything. This, I think, has a spring behind it so that if the pressure isn't equal in these two, then the lights comes on. I'm not sure. Yeah, now I cleaned this off and more fluid came out of it, so that's a good sign. I won't press on it or anything like that for now. The fluid that came out looked like it was fairly clean, so I'm not going to even dick with it. I'm just going to put it on, and then if it needs a rebuild later, then we'll do that. We'll see how it feels when I get on there. That's the master cylinder, right? Yeah, now, so I guess the more parts that go in here, the less parts I have to figure out where they go. So anyhow, that's the starting of the brake system. That I'll hook up the outside hoses to that, and then I'll lift it up and then hook up the outside hoses to that right there. Then I'll lift it up higher and start hooking up underneath here somehow, whatever goes underneath, like these. The next Octopus. Okay, now what will I do here? I need some light. Need a light as usual. Okay. Here now. That's right there is the hook for the rear brakes. So I've got all this stuff. There's brakes going across and out to there, and I got the rubber things in there, and the rubber hoses, the flexi hoses hooked up here, up to there, and up to there. So all that is put together. The only thing I have to do now is finish the back brakes. Now I didn't know where they went, so it comes down out of that, right? And I'm gonna bring them like right down along beside the wall of the car over here, and then in this gap here, right there, and then along and meet up over here, because that'll keep it out of the way of the fuel pedal and all that kind of stuff. And I think this is for the gas line. That one, and that one, I think is for a gas line, where the gas line hooks onto. Oh, doggy's here having a chew on a piece of cardboard. Well, that's great. Okay, anyhow, carry on. There was a big thunderstorm here a few minutes ago. Yeah, so there, where am I here? Starts up here, goes down along there, and in by the wall here, and hooks onto here where I left it last time. So I'll just cut it off right there. Cut it off right there, put an end on it, and then that'll join together, and I have a complete brake system then. Maybe I'll even load it up and bleed it. Yeah, so any of you haven't seen me making brake lines before, here we are. This one here, this is, what's it called? It's called 4 Lifetimes. 4 Lifetimes, LTFL2. Professional Turret Flare Tool. Well, I guess I must be a professional, am I? Nope, make no mistake, I'm not a professional. So you just put you put the proper tool in there, which in this case is a DIN, D-I-N, for bubble flare. And make sure you have this part on before you put the end on it. Then this thing here is operation, they call it operation 0. And operation 0 is, there's just a flat thing there and it just pushes that in, everything up flat. Then you tighten this down really well. Tighten this down really well and move it over to operation 1 like that. Give it a yank and that's done. Then get it out of there. Hang on. So there's the block that it kind of sits into right here, and then that makes let me see, bubble flare. Right like that. So I'll show you how I'll get this installed into the car, and I'll show you where it is. Yeah, so that hooked on right here. I'll get some tie downs for this later, and just get it tied down properly, maybe to the wall right there. I've got some, I ordered some from Amazon, tie wraps that have a little thing that you can put a screw in. So I'll use them for that, for tying this stuff down, just to make sure it's good. Put one right here somewhere, maybe right against that right there, eh? Be a good spot. Then all the rest of it is in okay, all the way back here. Did this quite a few episodes ago, right? Amazes me that none of these things were rusted out, these little holder things. I know, can you see that thing? It amazes me that none of them are rusted. Anyway, that's good. Okay, I can let the car down, and I'll put some fluid in it and see where it leaks. I'm not going to see if it leaks, and see where it leaks. Yeah, I didn't have to wait very long for the first leak. There's the remnants of it right there. Anyhow, this, I'd forgotten, I didn't tighten that and that. They were not tight, so they were leaking. Now, none of the other joints seem to be leaking. Well, who knows yet, till we get fluid back here. But now I'll start bleeding. Bleeding, not me, the brakes. The brakes I'm gonna bleed. And they're supposed to start at the furthest away wheel, which is right here. So I'll get my gear and we'll do that. Yeah, did I show you I've got that? Oh, sorry, there. I've got that power bleeder hooked onto there. And you pump it up with air pressure and fill up the brake fluid, and that helps out lots. Makes it so you don't have to pump on the brakes. Yeah, here I'm all set. Here I've got this little cup on there to collect stuff. I've got this part here is on the bleeder nipple. And then I like to have it going up over like that, because that way you can see the bubbles, if there's bubbles. 8 millimeters back here. Should be air coming through, I hope. Yeah, there's some brake fluid coming through. That's enough of that. came with a nice solid stream all of a sudden. Okay, so I think that one's, well, lead on the floor, right? Okay, now I'll go to the other one, next one across, and I'll do that. Then I'll show you on the front what I do up there, because there's 3 nipples up there. Okay, so nipple here, nipple here, nipple here. I'm gonna do, this one first, just because. And on the back it's 8 millimeters, on the front it's 7 millimeters. Go figure, eh? That looks like all the air has disappeared. One done. Oh, there. Gotta put this on here first, then put this on here. And then do that. Yeah, there's some coming. It's pretty slow because I only opened it a little bit here. But I think that's got all the air out. I'll run it for a bit and then we'll figure it out. That's 2 done. Same thing, you got to put the wrench on first. And this on top of it. And there goes the air and the bubbles. A couple of bubbles coming through that one, right? How come? There, it's clear now. Because it's a different line. Okay, that's pretty good. Now one more to do over on the other side. I'll go do that and then I'll see if there's a breakdown. So I'll just wait a few minutes and see if it wait a few minutes and see if the pressure drops any in here. Then I'll know if something's leaking somewhere. Well, it likely is. It's leaking a bit. You can see it bubbling, and that's likely leaking at the top of this thing here, or somewhere in one of these joints. So that's completely pointless watching that because it's going to drop. Okay. Anyway, I'll unhook everything. It looks like the reservoir is full to here somewhere, which is close to the maximum size, and that's great. Okay, I'll check and see if it has a brake pedal. Oh yeah, yeah, I got brakes. So if nothing else, we've got brakes. Feels pretty good too. And it's not dripping down anywhere, so master cylinder must be okay for now. Yep, feels good. Okay, got brakes. Now I'll see if they actually will turn again after I've hit them there. Hang on. Well, that turns. That released. That's a good sign, right? That turns. That released. That's a good sign. Yeah, that turns. We'll have to do some adjusting on that, I think. It'll take a little bit to wear that in. And last but not least, let's try this one. Oh yeah, this one turns easy. I think that one, the other side, it's not just like this thing here's got to get pushed in more. That's right. Yeah, see, it was out a bit, so it's got to be pushed in properly, and then it turns nice. Okay. Now, as far as, let me have a look underneath here. Where am I? Where'd my light go? Always leave the light somewhere else. There it is. I'll look at all the joints. It doesn't look like anything's leaking up there. Can't see anything anyhow, other than the leaks I had previously when I started. This one here looks okay. What's it look like over here? That looks okay. In behind, there's more joints in this than you show you stick at. In there, that's all right. In there is all right. Gotta put the car up a bit more. Hang on. We'll just run it up another click or two. There, that makes it better. And I don't bash my head on everything. This joint here is good. And there's no more joints until you get way back here somewhere. Right here. That's all good. Nothing leaking there. One joint there. No problems. A joint there. No problems. Here's another joint right here. No troubles. And one right there. No troubles. And then onto the wheel cylinder. That looks okay. And the other wheel cylinder, that looks okay. Looks like there's no leaks anywhere to start with. So, yay! Got the brakes done. Now the car has brakes, now I have to make it go, right? Yeah, so that's enough for today, right? I'll shut it down and I'll just leave it up there. I think maybe tomorrow I'll pull this apart because parts are coming. I might have parts for that tomorrow afternoon. So if I take it apart, put it in the cleaner, and then see what we do after that. See how that works out. Then should be some parts coming for this tomorrow afternoon too, for the crankshaft. So maybe I'll do the, what do you call that thing? The carburetor, and then I'll do the crankshaft. See how time's doing on this video, whether I have to split it up or not. We'll see you later. Bye. Yeah, so I planted grass here last week sometime, or maybe 6 or 8 days ago. And didn't do anything until like this morning when I looked. There was nothing on it, but now you can see, I don't know if you can see that in there. Grass is growing everywhere. Anyway, there you go. That's just amazing. And the azalea and what do you call that? The rhododendron. They look like they're on steroids, right? They're doing very well this year. Okay, so today on the chopping block is this carburetor. 2-barrel. Everything seems to work all right. Well, some things seem to work all right. Yeah, that's throttle. That must be vacuum for the choke release or something like that. Who knows? Anyway, the manifold has got a little, I don't know, can you see this? Right there. One break there. Some of the gaskets are still on there, but that's okay. Anyway, I think there's it's a Solex number 261157.1 BMW, it says right there. So I'll take it apart, soak it in a soaker, and then I have a rebuild kit coming, I think. That must be fuel shut off. Like maybe not. We don't know. We don't know what it is. We'll find out. Yeah, first thing I'll just get these bolts that hold it together here. I should get something to put all this stuff in, shouldn't I? I'll get a thing. Hang on. Back again. I've got this skinny wrench with 12 millimeters on the bottom. Everything in this car is either 10, 13, except for the ones that are 12. I don't think this has ever been off before, just by the looks of it and everything. And the pieces that are still here on my magnet. Makes it easier to get them off. But this one here, just one of those ones that's in there in a tight way. How can I get that off without? I could take that cover off and it'd come off easier, but don't really want to take that cover off yet. Let me have a look for a wrench that'll fit. I think this will get it off. I'll give it a try. I guess I could take that off and get it out of the way. This seems to turn it all right. Now, let me fuss with this a bit. Yeah, here's what's holding it here. I can just undo that hose or just take it off right there. I'll take that off and then it should come free. Yeah, that worked. So here's carburetor. Here's this thing here. That's sort of a metal plate there. Don't know whether a new one comes, so I'll just leave that on there for now and see what comes in the rebuild kit. This thing here, I don't know if that's, yeah, it goes, but I don't know that. I think the diaphragm's gone in there because I sucked on this. Oh no, seems to work. Seems to be working, so we'll see. Anyway, I'll clean that all up. I'll put this aside, clean it up later. And this one here I'll start with right now. Put it through the, I'll take it apart and put it through the, whatever you call that thing over there, the noisemaker. Okay, so see if this will come apart. Well, that got it. Yeah, trying to show you what it is. Little tiny thing, little tiny clippy thing. So this thing here opens the secondary, like when this is, oh dear me, when that opens up, that allows the second barrel to open up so that you get all sorts of go on it. And it's vacuum controlled. So that's what that does. I won't have to take that apart. I'll just see if I can't get this to come apart here. Right here, I'll get it apart somehow or other. That's the stopper for the accelerator. Anyway, I'll see if I can get this thing off the bottom and we'll carry on in a minute. Not much life left in this thing. This is the accelerator pump thing, but yeah, a new one coming. And it's got that much, goes in like that, and then a spring on here. Okay. Of course it won't come apart. It's held in underneath here. So I won't be pounding on it, right? Break something. Yeah, it looks like there's only 2 bolts that hold it this way, right? Trying to trick me is what they were doing. Trick them into breaking it. Then you have to get a new one, hey? Now we get down to the actual carburetor, right? All that was just getting to the carburetor. 261.557.1. Solex. Pretty dry in there. A little bit gungy in there. So I think this might be a fuel shutoff. Don't know for sure. It's not even tight. See what happens if I put 12 volts to that. I think that closes off the fuel when you turn off the car so it doesn't backfire. Yeah, there, all the bottom stuff is apart now, but there's still something in there, like a ball bearing or something like that, shaking. Didn't shake out. I don't know where. It might be underneath one of these things here, underneath this, I don't know. This thing here I think will come out if I wanted it to. I don't think I'll make that come out of there. I'll check and see if it's got a little tiny jet right there that didn't come out, but it seems to be pressed in. I'll run this through the cleaner. Now I'll take this apart here. Now, part of the reason I'm recording all this is so that I can see how I took it apart later, because my memory used to be really good for stuff like this, but it's not as good as it used to be. Most of it I'll remember all right, but some of it I'll just have to refer back to the yeah, so hopefully this is the right one. Anyway, we'll check it out. And also came along these. Where does it say standard? I saw standard on here somewhere. STD, standard. Yay. Then there's new timing chain came. Because I didn't want that. I didn't like that one with a master link in it and a new fuel pump. I figured I'd just get that while I was ordering stuff. And it was right there. And I did find the push rod for this somewhere. Yeah, so the new kit didn't come with this thing here, but I think this is okay. It doesn't seem to be affected. It did come with a new rod. That came on the new kit. This is also on the new kit, but I think I'll use the old one because the old ones are generally better than the new ones. Oops, don't lose this. That's the proper space. Oops. Okay, so this thing here I won't put into the carburetor cleaner business. I'll just clean it out with Carb Clean or whatever they call that. Anyhow, I think I'm ready to put it into the noisemaker, so I'll do that. I'll put everything in there and then see if this thing actually floats. What the hell? Oh, that's this fell out of there. Gotta be careful because stuff falls over all over the place. Okay, and then I'll see about cleaning this up. Check it out and see if it works. I've got a 12-volt power source over there somewhere. Yeah, so that's yeah, so I cleaned this off and then I checked it out, put 12 volts to that, and it closes that valve, or it closes the valve when there's no energy on it. So when you turn off the key, it closes that valve and that shuts off the idle circuit so that it won't backfire. Anyway, that's what I thought it did. This thing here, I don't know what it does. I'll take it apart and see what, take the cover off and see what's in there. Hang on. Yeah, so now this, so you put electricity to here, negative ground it to here, this is a heater, it warms up, and I'm pretty sure that would be a bioelectric, like a, as it warms up, then this thing here either closes or opens. I think it goes this way, and closes that valve right here. Then that would, it's likely to do with the choke mechanism, so that it allows more air. And it's like a auxiliary air valve, I guess, allows more air to flow through, or maybe it allows air to flow through to this thing here, and then this thing opens the like when the motor's cold, this thing won't pull on the vacuum, but when it warms up, when this warms up, then air comes through that valve, makes this vacuum, and then that will open the choke before the carburetor gets all hot, because it's way at the top end of the carburetor, doesn't get much heat there. This thing here also might be a bit slow too, so who knows. But it's something to do with like it's an auxiliary air valve of some sort. Where did that come off of, I wonder? Somewhere on the body of the carburetor. Anyway, that's my guess, and I won't stick this into the carburetor cleaner, but I will put some Carb Clean in there and see if I can clean that off a bit and make it better. Yeah, so that thing's cleaned up, and then, like, it says 20 ohms here, but I put a ohm meter on it, it comes out at 90 ohms. Anyhow, but it heats up, and I think that's what it's supposed to do. As it heats up, it closes this valve. So it must be, allows air to go through until it's hot, and then it stops it when it's warmed up for auxiliary air. Anyway, there you go. So these here, these jets, jet there, jet there, jet there, jet there. That one allows, well, who knows what they do, but they're jets. So this is a 1.2, this is a 1.8, this is a 1.2, and that's a 1.25. Now, the bore is larger on that side than it is on this side, so I put the larger jets on this is a secondary bore, this is the primary bore. So I put the larger jets over there, because I figure that's likely where they go. Hope so. Anyway, don't know like, if I had known to check, I would have, but I didn't. So, there you go. And there's this little tiny spring, I don't know, can you even see it in my hand there? That little tiny spring there goes down. Pretty sure it goes down in this hole here. And there's a ball down there, I think. And then this goes on top of it. I think that's the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter what way it is. No, something wrong there, because that's not going down. Okay, gotta think about this a bit. Maybe I got the wrong thing in there. Yeah, okay, now I figured it out, or I remember. Dimly remember. So there, I don't know, can you see that? There's a little spring on the end of this. One's got a pointy thing on it, and it goes way down in that hole right there. And then there's a ball joint down there somewhere. I think that it comes up again. So these bits, like that little rod there, fell out when I turned it upside down. And I thought it was going to go in here, but it doesn't. But it does fit in here. And then this has got a little indent in it in the middle to allow that to be there. So this, let me just get that on into there. Yeah, so whatever that is it fits in there. There's another little jet that fits right down in here. That one there didn't come out. That one and that one came out, that one and that one came out. I think that's all the inside jets done, and now I have to figure out these outside openings. Anyhow, but there's a bunch of things like that. Anyway, we'll keep on. Then this Venturi, there's a big Venturi for the. I got that right way around. That's big stack here. Maybe I got that backwards. Let me double check. Anyhow, but they go in, and then there's these two little things that look like this, and they're exactly the same. They hold it right here. Okay. That little hole there on the Venturi, one's smaller than the other, and they won't fit. Well, the little one will fit on either side, but the big one won't fit on the little side. There you go. Yeah, so this gets a O-ring on it, and it goes in here. I'm pretty sure it has to be screwed out a bit from the center. I'll just screw it in and see what it does. Yeah, so this is that heat thing. It gets there's a gasket made to fit around this, and another gasket like this goes right on there, and then that gets screwed up against here. That's where one fitting goes and the other fitting goes there. See if I can get that done. Yeah, then there was one little tiny jet left over that fits right in there. I knew the last thing I ever took apart, and I couldn't remember where it was, but that's where it goes right there. Okay, that's good. Now, the only thing I don't know where they go is that one. Well, I put one of them right there, but I don't think that's right. Don't know. Maybe it is. And there's another spot over here. That's threaded in there. I don't know where it goes, what it does. Maybe that's where the other one goes. I'll check it out. Yeah, here, mystery solved. So the long one is got a rusty end, and it holds in the Venturi. That's a Venturi stay right there. So the two Venturis get held in by those ones with the rust on the end. These other two go in the other two holes that are side by side. I'll show you. The one's right down there where my thumb is. See where my thumb is? There's a hole right there, and then there's a hole on this side right there underneath, like underneath my big finger there. So that's where those two go, and I'll slide them into place. Yeah, those are in there. Now that's, can you see that? Yeah, right there is one, and on the other side right there is the other. Now I think I've got everything back in its right place. The oh, what are these? I'll pull up a picture that shows you the different sizes that these jets are. You can read the sizes on it. These ones here matter. You know, you got to get the big jet to the big side, which is this side, I think. Secondary side is larger. Yeah, the secondary side, whatever that is. Yeah, the big side's over here. So that gets the big jets, and this side here gets the smaller jets. I hope we got that way. Anyhow, but I'll show you a picture of what it, with the with my camera, I can get like a macro picture to show you the different vent size, different sizes that's marked on the jets. Anyhow. Enough for today. I'll leave it at that. I'll come back tomorrow and see if I can get the rest of it together. And just as a point of interest, I didn't see any drips from the brake system, so might be okay. Everything in there might be done okay. So, see you tomorrow. Okay, so nearly as I can tell, all the passages are clean and everything is correct in there. Well, I don't know how correct it is, but it's all there anyhow. This thing here, I put the I used the old needle and seat and it works fine. I've blown into this and it's blocked when that's down and it's unblocked when I turn it upside down, so that's good. The but I did put a new washer underneath. Here's the old, that's the old washer there, and that's 2 millimeters, and the new package came with a couple of washers. One of them was 1.5 millimeters and the other one was 2 millimeters, so I used the 2 millimeter one, make it the same as it was. This used to have some plastic there. I don't know where it went. Likely it was into the bottom of this, so I'll put that back together. Well, just, you can see, let's see if I can do this, right? That's me. You don't need to look at me, you need to look down here somewhere, right about there. Yeah, that'll work. So I got the gasket on, and then this should just drop into place, right? Famous last words. Yeah, and it does seem to drop into place. Then there's 5 bolts to hold that together. Let's find 5 of these that look the same. 1, 2. There we go. Yeah, I think that long one goes there. Short one goes there. Short one goes there. Short one goes there. And the short one goes there. That'd be good. So you see this, I just did a little bit of sanding on those right there, and these are high spots, so I have to sand that down so it's flat, and that will make a better seal on that thing over there. And I'm just using my piece of flat steel, same thing as I did with those, whatever you call that, when I did the bearings, which I shouldn't have been doing because I just ruined them. But if I keep working on that, I'll get that so it's all shiny and there's no bare bits left. I'll just work on it a bit. Yeah, there, that should generate a reasonably good seal. And I think it hangs down this way, right? That goes in there. These ones go in there. Okay, I'll go back to cleaning stuff again. Yeah, generally when you put these things back together, there's only one place for everything to go. And just a matter of figuring out which is that one place, eh? Yep, back to cleaning. Gotta get that little washer on there so it'll stay, and I don't want to put any sort of sealant or anything on it. Oh, fell right out. I'll put a bit of grease or something on it. Yeah, I just put a dab of that stuff on it so that it would hold itself on there, we hope. Get the right wrench. Yeah, so everything on this whole thing is metric except that's 3/8. How come, I wonder? No, it's not even 3/8. It's just like it won't. Number 9 won't go on. Number 10, too big. 3/8 is too big, so let's find one smaller than that. Yeah, how often do you use an 11/32 wrench? Right there. That's the only time I've used, likely the only time I've ever used it. Anyhow, that's tight. So there you go. Now, I'll just, this thing here goes together again. And then, oh yeah, it came with the proper thing for it, whatever you call that thing. Then this, like that. Now to adjust the, well, it's got a little mark there. I wonder where that's supposed to meet up, right up here somewhere. I think that's supposed to meet right there. That's nice of them to give me a little mark. There's like a high point on it right here and a little mark right there. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? That little marking point right there, and then there's a high point on the body right there. So I'm going to say that that's where it should meet, or that's a good starting point, because that's closed there now, which is supposed to be. And on a cold day, it'll be more closed. So I'll just tighten that up there and leave that for now. That's where electricity goes in. These things here are either for air or something to make it, might be a breather off the, well, I don't know what it goes to. I'll find, there might be a clue somewhere. Hey, might be a clue somewhere. I don't know where. Okay. Nearly forgot this thing here, which, I don't know. That piece there goes in, right? I likely should have done this before. I'll have to take it apart again. You know, I like doing things 3 times, so this one's actually pretty simple. Well, nothing is simple. because, okay, I gotta clean that off. Yeah, there, so I cleaned that off so it's shiny everywhere. And then that goes on right there. Then there should be 3 little screws. These ones, oh, back to cleaning them now. Yeah, so I got them cleaned. Now I think that thing is still working, but it's not a big deal. Like if the car doesn't act correctly when it's warming up, then it's probably this thing that's creating a problem. Never did check to see if that was working, but I guess it could. I just hook it up to electricity and see. That's what it's supposed to do. And then this thing here, I can hear it hissing. See that? That's pulls on the secondary throttle, or makes it so this throttle opens. Anyway, 2 barrels, automatic throttle on secondary. Okay, next is this thing here. Now this gasket, it's got like, I've got, see this? I've got, that one's got that square thing in it there. This one's got a circle thing in it there. This one doesn't have as many holes, oh yeah it does, as this one, but it's got a square hole there. And a square hole there, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, this used to be here, so that's the same. So this one goes right here. Okay, well there, that's all back together and clean inside. Some of this stuff didn't come off very well on the outside, but I didn't want to go after it too hard with, I think I could now go after it with a bit of a wire wheel and maybe make it look a bit better. I didn't want to be wire wheeling that stuff and ruin any surfaces. This is in the right spot because that works. This part here, the secondary, oh, I need to put a thing on there yet. Okay. Need to find the clippy thing and put it there. I wonder where that clippy thing is. Put it somewhere safe, didn't I? Okay, I'll find the clippy thing and we'll put it on there. Okay. Anyway, I think that's going to be that for this video because we've used up quite a bit of time. I've got parts for that thing, which you may see this before you see what we've just done to sort of keep things in order here. Parts have come for to put this back together again, so I'll start working on that next. And this thing here, I'll clean that up sometime along the way and get that figured out how it goes back together. Just have to clean it out in the parts cleaner and then maybe shine it up a bit. I'm not sure. See what I can do. Anyway, that's it for this one. So hope you enjoyed it all. That's finicky work, carburetors. But we did get the brakes back together. Yep, got the braking system back together. Look at that up there, and even got all the brakes working in blead. So it's a roller now with brakes, which is good. Now, so stick around. I mean, come on back for more. Yeah, if you're here now, you've stuck around for a while. So come on back for more, and there'll be more on that part of it, the engine and stuff. Okay, see you later. Thanks, bye. Yep, you know how much I love to do things 3 times. That little spring there is supposed to be right in there. So I guess I'm doing some disassembling. See if I can get this to, see if I can get it out without. Oh, I got to take this off again and this part off. So I'll do that and I'll get back to you. Oh, well, there, it wasn't that tough. So I was able to, I didn't have to take this off, although I did. Just take that cover off, put the spring in, that cover right here, off of there, and I put the spring in, and it's all together now. All the pieces are in, we hope. Okay, that's good for that. See you later. Something else I missed. Here's this is the idle air mix screw. Goes right in there. And didn't see it before. So now I've got a new O-ring. I knew there was a O-ring came in the package right there. So new one of them. So I'll put that O-ring on and clean this up and put it back in there. Likely, I didn't count the turns, but likely about 2 turns out or something. Yeah, still here. Back on the lost and found department. So that clippy thing that's supposed to go on right here, I haven't found it. I've lost it. And I don't have one that'll fit. But found in the found department, I found a ball bearing. Oh, there it is. Ball bearing right there. Anyway, and I think I know where it goes underneath here. So I guess I got to take that apart and see if I can put the ball bearing in. Yeah, so the good news is that I was looking on the floor and found the clippy thing. So I'll be able to get that on soon. But for first, I'll get the ball bearing in. So this right here, I'm pretty sure the ball bearing goes down there. Now, I'll have to get a magnetic thing and put it in. So I'll drop the ball bearing in there. Then that little tiny spring right there. You see that spring? And then that thing there holds it all together. See what I can do about getting that ball bearing in here. There it is right there. Fits down that hole. Makes some kind of sense that thing would live in there. I think that's to do with the with this pump here. Keep it working. Anyway, maybe we'll put some fuel in there and check that out. So there, now I've got some fuel in here, and if you do this, I don't know where you can see this, so I'll put something to catch it underneath. This is empty, right? Can you see that? The fuel's going in there, so that's actually working. Okay, I'll be happy with that. There's lots of fuel. It may take some adjusting later, but for now, works fine. Now I have to get that fuel out of there. Okay, back together again, and everything works, and I've got the little clippy thing on, right? Hold up there for a minute. Very difficult some days. Right here, the little clippy thing is. Okay, so that's all back together, and that, again, is the end of it all, right? Hey, okay, there. See you later. Yeah, June 14th. Here's some signs of summer coming along. All the buttercups along the path. Hey? A little bit cloudy and overcast today. It was cold overnight. More signs of summer. There's a bumblebee bee in there. And these things are irises. No excitement on the pond today. Very still today. I guess today is all about the flowers, right? And then the big old rose bush is starting to bloom out. This thing gets completely covered in blooms. You can see all the buds coming up and some blooms. It'll be completely red in a week or so. Yeah, there's Doggy on the beach. Tide is high-ish. Still coming in, I think. Don't know for sure. Either coming in or going out, one of the two. I think it's coming in. Yeah, and that's nothing much else today. See you later.